Brought to you by Hooked at Curries, Susan Bean at Big Rapids Realty, Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair, Seth Winger at the Winger Insurance Agency, Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile, Barrington Firearms and Training Center, DW2 Drywall, Michigan ADOS, the Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus, and Paris Auto Sales.
There's a man named Pat Curry, he's got a passion for the news. Brings the stories of Big Rapids and across the county to you. Every Tuesday morning, you know just where to go. Tune in to B1039, he's got the scoop, don't you know? Welcome to Curry's Corner. With Pete Kent by his side, they'll keep you informed and entertained. Taking you on a ride from the latest happenings to the heart of the community. Come on over to Big Rapids and see what's on TV. Oh, wait, now you tell me it's not TV. Well, that's okay, just listen with me. We're on the radio, so now let's go. Time for Curry's Corner on your radio. Yeah. Tune in and turn it up, let's have some fun.
All right, Bob, hey, let's be cheerful. The sun is shining. The good Lord has given us another day. Welcome to the 103.9 Morning Show with Bob Aldridge. I'm Pat Curry. Pete Kent, the old boy, used to be a partner of mine in here for a long time. Once in a while he comes on. You see he's on his phone right now looking at some probably Ben and Jerry stuff. But anyway, we have a pretty good show here this morning for you. And got some ups and some downs. You know, when you get older, you realize that there's two things in life guaranteed. That's life and death. And I know we just celebrated Donald Vedder's funeral celebration of life this last Friday down there to Caledonia. Randy Vedder's dad passed away at the age of 94, and they had a celebration. It truly was a celebration. Not a lot of tears because Don had a great 94 years in life, and we just want to send our condolences to him, and we're very thankful of knowing such a nice family. This morning my guest is David Fry and James here in Ostrand. Two different conversations this morning on this. James, obviously, everybody knows James from Service Master. His dad started it years and years ago, and I believe he still works for it, but we didn't bring him here for Service Master or to promote Service Master. We brought him in here for what he's really talented in, and that is his volleyball coaching. Done a great job. He's had a great career. Let's get David Fry some coffee over here so I can loosen him up. Good morning, David.
Morning.
David and I have been friends for quite a few years now, and you've got a great name. You're well known down in the Stanwood area. You were quite self-motivator. You've done a great job in life. You never were on welfare and made a pretty good living, so I guess I'd call you a great American. Good to hear you. Good to have you here this morning, David. But David came in the station a little while back there, and they were looking for support for renaming part of the highway down there, the Muskegon River down there at the bridge, to a young fellow that lost his life. He was in the Marines? Army. And Matt Weber's his name. I'll get to his name. A great American. I remember when he passed. David, I'm going to let you talk about all that when that happened. But I remember the tribute you guys had for him down to Morley Stanwood. It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Well, I wasn't part of Matt Weber's life at that point in time. Right. This just happened for me in the last 2 or 3 years, 4 years maybe. Mm-hmm. But I was aware of what was going on, but I was not a participant.
Well, you were probably working.
Yeah.
You're a doctor, right?
Correct.
Let's talk about you for a little bit. You grew up where? Where did the Frys grow up at?
I was born right on Main Street in Stanwood, lived in 2 or 3 houses there, and eventually out on Pierce Road.
Okay.
Went to Morley Stanwood.
Yeah. So what'd your dad do?
He worked at Austin Gas Fields back then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wow. And then how many siblings did you have then?
2.
2, just 2. Yeah. All right, so what's going on here? 1 minute, you can hear me in next minute.
Somebody's squealing.
Oh.
So somebody's got their headphones cranked.
On what?
Their headphones are too loud.
Too loud?
Yeah,
Maybe that's me, huh?
Yeah.
That's
somebody.
probably me, huh?
Hey,
No?
I don't know. Somebody.
Huh. All right. Well, anyway, I remember the ceremony they had. It was huge. And just like a lot of other young people that have died for our country, tell us a little bit more about 3 or 4 years ago. How did you get involved with renaming the highway there? Or not renaming, but naming. Oh, my Lord. Pete's having a rough time this morning, about 84 years old now. Are we all right now?
You don't need them.
No, you don't need them. All right. So, David, back to you. I apologize to your listeners out there. We got David Fry. We're talking about Matt Weber's naming of Matt out there on the highway.
Well, when COVID hit, I happened to be fortunate that I was on vacation in the South. And you go across these two-track roads or two-lane highway roads, and a lot of them, you go across a little bridge, and there's a name of somebody that gave their life for this country. They're all over in the South. They're very patriotic down there.
Yeah.
I didn't think much about it, but I retired shortly after and spent more and more time up in the Stanwood area. Memorial Day, I think it was 2022, the Morley Community Center has a little celebration, and they had Matt's father, brother, and mother there, and they told Matt's story. And so the two kind of clicked. Why don't we have something around here recognizing Matt's service and sacrifice? So I approached Matt's dad at that point and asked him if he would mind if we got something started like that, Vince. And he was in favor of that. I didn't get a chance to talk to his mother, but I got her phone number and then spoke with her. So at that point, then I called I think it was Roger Lauk's office, is that it?
Houck. Yeah, Roger
Yeah,
Houck.
Roger Houck,
Houck. And
state senator.
and then there was Tom Kuntz, and I had dealt with Molinar in the past, and we were all at a dinner up in Everett in the fall of that year, the following year, and I brought it up at that point. I started calling their offices. I talked to Olivia up in Roger's office, and she thought it was a good idea. So then Vince, Matt's dad, had to go in front of a subcommittee down in Lansing, tell Matt's story if we were going to go forward with this, which he did. Very emotional testimony for him at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And he sent me a copy of a recording of what transpired. So it got out of the subcommittee, but then I don't know, there was an election in 2022 or something of that nature, and it just got put aside. So I called Olivia again at Roger's office, and we were able to set up a GoFundMe page. It was going to be $6,500, $7,500 for these signs. That money was raised in less than a day. I didn't even get a chance to donate. I didn't know how to use the GoFundMe for one thing.
Right. I know.
But I thought it would go on for several weeks. But
Right.
it was less than a day we had all that money.
Wow.
But then nothing happened. And so this spring came around, and still nothing was going on. And then
How many years is this now?
So it's been going on 2.5, 3 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Just to get a sign up, so you understand why nothing gets done in this state or country very fast anyway.
Yeah.
So then springtime came around. I got a hold of you. I talked to the American Legion guy down there, Mike O'Neill. Went to the school superintendent, Roger Cole, at Morley Stanwood. Came up here and talked to Jake at the AMVETS. The county commissioners, can't think of his name right now, brought this issue up at the level of the county commissioners. Some or all wrote letters in support, and I know you were involved with that. Thank you. And then things started to happen, and they happened real fast. The only time I've spoken with Matt's mother was just that one time 2 or 3 years ago. Vince and I have spoken just that one day at the memorial celebration, Memorial Day. He and I text back and forth. And then all of a sudden I get a text from him here a couple, 3 weeks ago saying they're going to put that sign up the end of October. And then the formal, there'll be a little celebration this Saturday down at the Morley American Legion. I suspect that Roger and maybe Tom, possibly Molinar will be there, and the community's more than welcome. I know Vince is looking forward to it. Finally, something's done.
Right.
In the process, the Mecosta supervisor, John Boyd down there, he tells me that we're going to be able to get a similar sign over the Muskegon River, which is on Northland Drive there, just south of Rogers Heights. And maybe that'll become known as the Weber Bridge. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's where it is right now. Boyd says that can happen very easy. He's spoken with MDOT about it, and there's not the hoops that we had to go through this past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's where it is.
You know,
That's the story.
I got to tell you, Bob, no, there's more to it than that. It's true American, and that shows you're a patriot. You thought none of this would ever happen if it wasn't for David Fry. In your life, what you've accomplished is a lot. I know you were a famous doctor or whatever, very successful in your life, but this is probably the most important thing you've ever done in your life, isn't it, David? I mean, this young man never got to see the age of you and I, and he sacrificed his life for all of us, and it's a shame. But then again, it's a tribute to the ones that took action in the State House to get it done. But just think, if you wouldn't have went to Vince and said something, this would never happen. And now maybe you've let a charge for the Cadillac people or Petoskey people or wherever to start naming after these patriots that have lost their life in our lives, in our lifetime. You know what I mean? But let's talk about Matt a little bit. What did Vince say he was? What was he? I know he was a real good student, and he went in the Army right after high school in 2001, I think it was.
I'm not sure of his dates of service, but he after he graduated from Morley Sally, the kid looked like a movie star. I mean, he had light blonde hair, blue eyes. I mean, he was a good-looking boy. So I had to look at his obituary to give you some of these things, and they're probably not going to be accurate. I gave it all to you.
Oh, well, let's see, where's it at?
But anyway, it's on a little 3x5. That's my brain now, Pat.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway.
All right.
He graduated from Morley Standard, I believe, in 01, then was a student and joined the National Guard and was called up to Iraq, and that's where he was injured and I think he was again, I said I didn't know all the details of this when it happened. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it.
Right.
But spent time in Germany at Ramsdale. And then they brought him, and I think his dad said he had a cardiac arrest on 3 occasions in the flight from Germany to Brooke Army in Texas. And this was terribly stressful for this family. His mother was down there 24/7, and Vince would go down on the weekends, and until he passed in the States at Brooke Army. From it's severe burns, and that's usually what gets him infection from the burns process.
And how old was he then? 20?
Yeah, he wasn't very old. He was in his 20s.
Yeah. Wow, isn't that something?
23, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. We should have more. I apologize. I should have had more information on his life. But I know a lot of people down in Morley Stanwood and the procession they had that day. James, do you remember it?
I don't think I was around for that. I know that it was a very big deal. It still is a very big deal in this community, and Vince and his family are near and dear to my heart, and me being a former Marine myself, and coming up with 2 grandfathers that served in World War II, it kind of just brings a little water to my eyes just thinking about, what Matt and his family had to go through. You signed that contract, your life for the freedom of the American people, and by golly, you just want that guy to come home and see him, be able to welcome him home and give him a big hug, and for all he's done, I felt really welcomed. Although I served in peacetime under Clinton, I felt really welcome when I came home out of the service by the community. And it's one reason why I've always, kind of kept my roots here, Pat.
What year did you graduate in then?
I graduated in '95. I was already enlisted in the Marine Corps in the delayed entry program. Went in, started my service in January 16th, '96, and then I got out in 2000, January 16th, 2000.
So that was peacetime then, because refresh my memory. Then Iraq came.
Yep. As soon as I got out, it was the end of my inactive ready reserve status is when 9/11 happened. My mom was in tears when it happened. She thought I was going back. Probably would have had I been invited, just because it's what we do, Pat.
Right. Yeah. But do you remember him at all, or?
Matt graduated and went into the military as I was getting out and coming back to the community. So, but Vince and I have always, chatted here and there over the years. It was a tragic thing for the Morley Stanwood community. It really was.
Yeah, if I remember right, they had over 150 motorcycles there, I think it was, and just unbelievable on Northland Drive. It was because they had it at the high school of the Vigil, didn't they?
Yeah, it was packed. That's all I remember. It was so long ago, and I was just getting out of the Marine Corps and planting my roots, and didn't really know Matt that well, but knew Vince. He was a little bit closer to my sister Carrie, who graduated from Morley Stanwood in '89. So I was a little kid, running the hallways, chasing all my sister's,
Right.
teammates from volleyball. So
yeah. Vince or David, is this the first one of this happening? Because you went through quite a bit for 2.5, 3 years to get anybody's attention to get this done. I don't understand what took so long, but bureaucracy, you touched on that. But is there any other? I guess I've never seen anybody's name on the highway that from the service.
Well, there's being spent most of my life, adult life in Grand Rapids. The M6 highway has a plaque down there on a fellow's named David Wiersma, and David Wiersma was a Navy SEAL that went down in a Chinook over in Afghanistan, I believe. And I always felt bad about that because I worked with his mother. She was a single mother, and she was my scrub nurse for many years, Patty.
Wow.
And David was the oldest of 4 boys, which she raised all by herself. And it didn't take long for them to get that sign up. I was just involved with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But now they have the sign. They have a David Wiersma marathon every year, or a race. Maybe it's only 5 miles. I don't know.
Oh, really?
So his memory has been preserved and his sacrifice preserved. But that's the only other one. I think the holdup here with Matt was political,
Yeah.
Politics is 2 wolves and a lamb trying to decide what to have for lunch.
Right.
And sometimes,
that's a good one.
and it's probably what happened here.
Yeah. Well, you got it done. I tell you, my hat's off to you and to a lot of your friends that helped get this through here. And I do want to thank Tom Kuntz and Roger Hawk, because Roger, state senator, he's really one that pushed the button on that and said, let's get it done. So.
Well, I think you had a lot to do with this too, Pat. You have a big following here, and so your efforts were appreciated too.
Well, we all had a part of it, really. I mean, but you were the groundwork of it, and I wish we could have got Vince on today because, to pay tribute to Matt, we should do another day of this, maybe once a year, take 5-10 minutes and bring up his life. I know there's a lot of other people that have passed away and fought for our country, and they're true patriots that we should talk about too. But, you think about it, with all the hate and dissension going on in the world today, why do you waste your time on that? Because you realize that you have more time than Matt Weber did. The poor guy, he's a saint above the angels, I'm sure, right now, but looking down at us, you guys are making a big deal out of this because the other world's so much better. There isn't the dissension that we're having in this world today, but thanks to him and many, many others that we're walking around free today. I was talking to a kind of a pessimist the other day, and you hang around with those guys a little bit, you kind of feel the same way. You get down. I want to listen to Toby Keith, but I said to him, "What's it all about? I want you to go home tonight and really think about what's it all about. If it's about negativity, then why are you around? It doesn't make sense to be that way. And you really done something positive here that will go down forever. That name will be out there forever. And it would be kind of cool to name a race after him or something, or
race or
a walk or something, and just keep bringing the Patriots up. Matt is one of thousands that have given up his life for us. But Morley Stanwood, again, is kind of like Reed City is on the boundaries of Big Rapids, and you have name after name after name stay there forever, don't you?
Yeah.
Just like this young Thurston, U.S. Marine. Did you see where he died here, the David Thurston?
No, I didn't hear about that.
55 years old. Grew up down in Morley Stanwood. Yeah, he says right here, raised in Stanwood. Hank and Hilda Thorson. David graduated from Morley Stanwood High School. It says read more. But he's 55 years old. I don't know how he passed or what took him, but he was a proud Marine, proud dad. A lot of positives in his life there, and it's just kind of sad, that it might have been related to his service that he committed for America.
Jim, you got 250-year anniversary coming up next week, don't you?
Is it 250? I thought it was more than that. Excuse me. Yeah, the Marine Corps birthday is a big deal. It's and it's funny because we always joke because it kind of piggybacks on Veterans Day, and if you know anything about Marines, we didn't get the nickname from the Germans Teufelhunden, devil dog, for no reason. We tend to go a little bit crazy. We keep in touch with each other pretty close. A few years ago, 1 year alone. I don't know if you guys remember that tragic situation down in Chattanooga where that Marine Corps recruiter was shot and killed in his office by I don't even know how to refer to the guy that shot him. But that year alone, I had 8 brothers that I served with in the Marine Corps that had passed that year from natural causes and other situations. But yeah, I'm gonna miss those guys. We're gonna keep in touch with the guys that are still here with us and share some memories and class some beers together and probably go down to the local tavern and fill a table with shots and beers for my brothers that can't be here to enjoy the birthday for me and just leave them sit on the table overnight.
Was your experience when you were in? My experience was there were a lot of fellas from the South, very patriotic, and I think that goes back to the signs that I saw on the bridges back in 2020. When I was on my little vacation there, and when this idea kind of germinated. But was that your experience as well, the patriotism of the Southern boys?
Doc, excuse me, Doc. I was really blessed. My leader when I got into the Marine Corps was a Captain Strobel at the time. They wrote a movie about him called Taking Chance. Kevin Bacon played the role. It's it's an HBO movie if you've never seen it. It's about a Marine Corps officer that brings a fallen Marine back from war to his family and presents the body, and that whole situation's really tough. And it's actually a true story about what Major Strobel did after he left our unit in the Marine Corps. And we were the #1 firing battery, and we were patriotic guys. And yes, a lot of them were from the South. I really didn't know. Met some guys. My roommate when I first got in, his name was Clifton. He was our mechanic. He was from the backwoods, Ohio, and man, that guy could crank a wrench on things I didn't even know could be fixed. He was just a really good dude. But South, I mean, guys from all over, Hell's Kitchen, New York, all come together for the same cause, and that's just to serve the American people,
You enlisted, eh?
Yeah, I volunteered. Growing up with my 2 grandfathers, both being wounded on different spectrums in World War II, one in the Army Air Corps, my grandpa Ray McDonough, and then my grandpa on my dad's side, Jim Nostrand, who's the reason we're here. We moved here in 1985 because I was his little buckaroo. it was kind of a given deal. Grandpa was like, "You're going in the military," and he was the Army Ranger, and he always joked with me when I was a kid. He goes, or when I signed up for the Marine Corps, he goes, the Army does all the work, the Navy gets all the pay, and the Marines get all the credit. And I always had to have a chuckle about that. He was a really good guy.
He was in the Marines too, then?
No, Grandpa was in the Army. That's why he had a little bitter thing about him for me going in the Marine Corps. But, you know.
But he wanted you to go in the Marines.
He wanted me to just join the service. He thought it was good for me to volunteer and to go serve the American people, you know, and it was the best thing for me. I mean, in high school, I was a punk kid. I wasn't making good decisions, and it ended up putting me down the right path. The discipline is what I needed. I'll go back and serve the Marine Corps every life I live from here on out. I'll go back in and serve serve Americans, just because it put me in a better place. I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have character. I wouldn't have a backbone, a spine. Wouldn't stand with my shoulders a little bit taller. Or a little bit farther back, and it goes into helping my coaching with my kids and that too. You know, my tactfulness, my bearing, all that stuff that I learned in Marine Corps boot camps really made me who I am today.
How old were you when you went in?
I was 18 years old, turned 19 in boot camp. I tell you what, if you ever list in the Marine Corps, don't go to boot camp on your birthday. Don't do it. It's those sorts of holidays, they make extra special for you.
Do you ever have a feeling that it was worth nothing for protecting a country that looks down on armed forces, a country that some people feel that we shouldn't be there? The morale, I guess, is what I'm asking. Was the morale always high and throughout your career in the service, and when you came out, did you feel appreciated?
I did. I really felt appreciated by this community, and I think that's one of the reasons I landed back here. Thankfully, I was in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and North Carolina is a very patriotic country, and I loved it. Felt welcome there. Felt welcomed out in the community. Didn't feel like people were looking down at me. Went to Okinawa. Traveled over there. The only time I had an issue over there when we were training was in Fuji. We had some protesters that didn't like us training over there in Japan. But I mean, we had to. I mean, Americans don't know what they don't know, you know. And the goal of the armed service is to pretty much do what you're told and protect the American people. It's not our business, you know. Frankly, it's not our business what they're going out there to do. But I'm sure at the end of the day, we'd like to have some say in it, but. Then I trusted my leadership. Major Strobel, First Sergeant Kevin Curry were my leaders in the Marine Corps, and I would drive, fly, go anywhere to protect those dudes and the dudes I walk next to and serve next to. To me, it wasn't about the appreciation that I did or didn't get. I don't think I was ever really treated bad for my time in the service, but that's not what I did it for. And like you were talking earlier about optimism and pessimism and all that, you know, that's how I've always lived my life. I'm grateful God gave me the opportunity. I'm grateful for everything that God's ever given me. I'm grateful that I'm here today and that he didn't send me into war, but had I needed to, I'm sure he would have looked over and protected me. And I think as a society, as a whole, I think we need to become more optimistic of, you know, what's going on and have that old school trust. You know, in Service Master, we're commercial services, commercial cleaning. You know, I'm not here to give my company a plug, but just to say just a situation. You know, back in the day, you know, it was a handshake when we got gas from you. You know, you'd take down a little note, we'd sign it at the gas station, and you had a little pad there, and you'd send us a bill every month. And you know, and now everything's contractual. You know, it's really sad because being old school. And I was just talking to somebody about this the other day and walking into Chemical Bank. I got my first car loan from Carl Linebaugh, going in there and asking for money.
Yeah.
Not filling out paperwork. I went in there and sat down. I was 16 years old, had a job at McDonald's, already worked there 2 years. And I walked in and my dad said, "You go sit down and talk to Carl Linebaugh and ask him for money for a car." And he says, "Yep, I think I can do that. And here's the paperwork I want you to fill out." And I think I did. I ended up getting a little Ford Taurus or something like that. That was my first car. And
wow. Well, we're going to take a break. Top of the hour, 9 o'clock. It's been a very enjoyable first half hour. We'll be back with David Fry and James Nostrand right after these messages from our sponsors.
On WBZX Big Rapids.
Sometimes crossing paths with a flying stone is inevitable. But whether you have a small chip that needs quick attention or a windshield that's beyond saving, Michigan ADA's Calibration and Glass is there to help. If your vehicle has been in an accident and you're working with insurance, they'll handle the entire process from start to finish. From windshields to back glass and even power windows, they'll see you through it. Pun intended. Save time and skip the dealership with Michigan ADA's Calibration and Glass. Same location as JR Customs and Collision, just north of 19 Mile in Big Rapids.
Gilbert's Carpex Plus, color time. Stop and shop with us for a while.
Looking to refresh your home? Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile on Northland Drive in Big Rapids, just south of the campus, has everything you need. They're experts in flooring and window treatments, but did you know they also specialize in beautiful countertops? Whether you're remodeling your kitchen or bathroom, their great selection of colors and styles will help you create the perfect look. Visit Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile, your one-stop shop for floors, window treatments, and countertops. Stop in today and make your house a home.
Gilbert's Carpex Plus, color time. Stop and shop with us for a while. Gilbert's is there for you.
Hi, this is Pat Curry. When I think of drywall, there's only one guy in town that I think of, and that's Dale at 231-679-0475. If you want a great job done in your house, whatever you need, drywalling, call Dale. Dale and Frank will do a great job for you. Great pair of Americans. DW2 Drywall. Give them a call at 231-679-0475. Remember, DW2 Drywall.
Paris Auto Sales is your used car center of Big Rapids. Now with 2 locations to better serve you. We know you're a hardworking individual and you need that 3/4 ton because you never know when you'll have to haul a grand piano. And for those families that keep on growing, you're going to need that 3rd row so that your little ones can store their leftover french fries between the cushions. We've got that sport utility vehicle that's ready for the job. Paris Auto Sales, your used car center of Big Rapids.
Hooked at Curries.
Pete, why do you come to Curry's?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I go to Curry's to get the cheeseburger with caramelized onions and mayonnaise and ketchup. And you're not going to ask, where's the beef? It's going to be in the bun.
Where do you go for Michigan's #1 concealed pistol license course? The same place thousands of Michigan residents have over the past 15 years, the Barrington Firearms Training Center. The BFTC conducts state-certified CPL courses right here locally inside the Barrington Conservation Club at 3444 18 Mile Road in Barrington. For just $99, all you need to bring us is your Michigan ID to these all-inclusive one-day CPL courses, which include the use of firearms, ammo, eye and ear protection, coffee and donuts in the morning, and lunch at noon. That's right, just $99 gets you everything needed to take the police department instructed course that includes the training necessary to safely load, unload, handle, and store your firearm. Students will also be trained on when it is legal to defend themselves with a firearm under Michigan's Stand Your Ground law and Castle Doctrine. Call 231-250-7257 or go online at michigancpltraining.com to register for one of their upcoming $99 all-inclusive CPL courses. Get armed, get trained at the Barrington Firearms Training Center.
I'm Haley. My husband and I bought our home pretty much about 2 years ago. We are actually looking to downsize now. We used Sue Bean. She has become a friend of mine over these last few years. I've got to work with her, and she's just one of the sweetest souls. She really knows a lot about the field, and I felt like she was our best choice. Sue Bean makes it personalized because she figures out exactly what you're wanting as a buyer, and she figures out exactly what you need as a seller. So she combines both of those things and successfully helps you get exactly what you need out of any scenario. I'm grateful for Sue's persistence, her honest feedback, most importantly, her caring concern to us as the seller, and then also additionally with this piece of property that we purchased as the buyer. She's there to protect you as both. That was really important to me. You can get a hold of Susan Bean at Big Rapids Realty by calling 231-580-9546 or online at bigrapidsrealty.com. Email her at sbean, S-B-E-A-N, at BigRapidsRealty.com.
All right, back here at the 103.9 studio, just north of Big Rapids, of God's country. Got David Fry here talking about Matt Weber's memorial, the bridge down in South and North Lanes, right, David?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, both. And if it wasn't for David Fry from Stanwood, loving his community, loving his friends, Vince, the family, we wouldn't be talking right now. Dave, you can give all the credit to all the people you want, but I know for a fact who made these phone calls, and it was very, very important for David to get this accomplished. And I want to thank once again our Senator Roger and our Representative Tom Kuntz from Clare for getting on their constituents and making David's dream fulfilled. Not only David's dream fulfilled, but mine, James, everybody.
The community.
And the community, yeah. Morley Stanwood, like Chippewa Hills, and just like Reed City, they're rivalries to us. But when it comes right down to it, we all have each other's backs. And it did take a community to get it through. But once again, thanks, David, and thanks for coming today. During our break here a little bit, we were reminiscing about our lives a little bit, and David alluded to the fact that he was in the armed services. Back in what year was that, David, that you started? Where you went in?
69.
Oh, wow, you were in the heat of Vietnam.
Yeah, I made it over there.
Oh, my Lord, let's talk a little bit about that then. You graduated from Morley Stanwood year?
I graduated in 67 and started Ferris, and I had issues with bookwork at that point in time. There were other important things. So anyway, 69, I ended up in the Army, and then by the fall and winter, December, I think I left home on Christmas Day in 69, headed over there.
Did you have friends go with you?
No.
Nobody, by yourself, didn't know anybody.
But all my friends were over there.
Oh, they were? Okay.
Yeah, the Denslow boys and Fyvie and Clifford Kilburn and his brother had been there. Gene Vinings, Jack Hoisington, I could go on and list.
Wow.
And we didn't lose anybody from my class.
Wow.
We lost one fella Roger Friesner. I don't think we've ever recognized Roger's service. He was from Morley, about 2 years older than me.
What was his name, Roger?
Roger Friesner.
I remember the name, kind of. Were they farmers, or what did they do?
He was just a solid kid. Really a nice young fella.
God.
And but his passing kind of went. That was not a popular war.
No.
And conflict, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
So his loss has been unrecognized for the most part. But anyway, so I ended up in Vietnam for pretty much most of the year of 1970. I was with the 1st Infantry Division.
You see some.
Yeah, the war was winding down. It wasn't as hot then. I'd missed the Tet was in 68. So it was not as hot.
You guys are brave. You know, I'll talk about me in a minute, but you realize that you might not come back.
You know,
What is it about?
You know, there was something about Stanwood. The Company E from Big Rapids that you've heard about that went over and served in World War II, and my dad worked with Pud Connors and Vin Newcomb, Charlie Newcomb.
Yeah.
And the Denslows.
Yeah.
And there was all kinds of World War II vets that hung around in the small town of Stanwood. Stanwood was kind of bustling back then. Main Street of Stanwood, on Friday and Saturday, it was hard to find a parking spot.
Wow.
A little grocery store there, the Gordon and Helen Burton's grocery store.
Yeah.
There was a barber shop. Willie Honey had a TV repair shop. There was a pool hall. The Stanwood Mill was going strong. There was a locker plant. All of that's gone. The only thing right now is the little Corner Cafe. But so there was a lot of patriots from the World War II era, and it was sort of what you did. And so I had all these friends over there that had been there. Some of them were back. Things weren't. I wasn't a star student at Ferris, as I alluded to. So you go.
So you go, but knowing that, I mean,
I don't think you think about it.
I don't think we did, because, see, I graduated in 72. And I remember losing Greg Geiderson. He was graduated in 71, went in the Marines and was killed in combat over there. No counselors came to us in high school and said, hey, you just lost a friend, in Vietnam. That was part of life. That was just what happened. But then we were going to be drafted or enlist. And I remember most of my class, we all talked about it. And I was, I don't know why, but I wanted to go to California if I was going to go in. So I was just not too far from enlisting. Well, they came up with the draft numbers. And you had a draft number. I was number 12. And all of us were low. And we was going to go. But I remember thinking that it's okay. It's part of life. The guys went before us. They died. I remember Kelly, he never came. They never did find him. Brian Kelly's brother, Mike, I think it was. God bless him. But, and others. But there wasn't fear, was there, David, about going in?
You're young, though. When you're young, you don't have fear of death. You drive your car in a haphazard way. You do things that as you get older, you realize were kind of stupid. But, if we didn't do those stupid things when we were young, we wouldn't have anything to laugh about today.
Yeah, that's true. But Joe Weckelman and I are very good friends. Whenever I have to go to Canada with a horse or Georgia, it doesn't matter where I go. Joe's just a dedicated friend. We should all be like him. But anyway, him and I do a lot of talking. He was in the Air Force, very proud of it. And he, back then, he didn't have no money. Comes from a large family from Gene up there at Reed City area, and he said he used to hitchhike home from the base down south. I don't know where Air Force Base was, back in Oklahoma maybe, or I don't know, but Texas maybe. But he hitchhiked home on his leave, and he was telling me about getting rides. Today, you wouldn't dare to hitchhike. How you might never get out of the car.
Yeah, my grandpa used to tell me stories about that stuff too when I was a little kid.
Well, anyway, so you went to Vietnam for a year. Do you want to talk about any of those? I know you said it was on the downslide. Thank God it was, 'cause to finish my conversation off, Nixon came on in April, I think, of 72 and said, as of today, we will cancel any recruits, no draft. So we all backed out. Not that we were chicken.
My number was 360 in that draft. I was already in, but that's what it was. I looked it up just the other day. June 20th, 360. I would never
would have went.
Hell would have frozen over, and I would never have been there.
But a lot of guys back then too, if you didn't go in, you weren't really patriotic, were we, Dave? I mean, you weren't. You better not be draft dodger.
Well, probably not. But I had friends that didn't go, and still to this day, friends that didn't go, and I never thought of them like that.
No, I know that, but I mean, if you were drafted and ran to Canada or something.
That was a different story.
Yeah, there was too much. And this Michigan really had a lot of good people going into the service. Not that the other states didn't, but geez, everybody went. It seemed like Jack Adrunts. I'm just looking at names: Johnny Wiseman, Tom Klasko. These are guys graduating in '68. And now, that being said, it is a shame throughout their whole life since Vietnam, the ones that did get in the trenches and see terrible things and ate bugs for dinner. PSTD, is it called?
PTSD.
What is it?
PTSD.
What's that stand for?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah. That's sad, ain't it? In that generation. And what they had to go through. And do you think this is off the subject a little bit, but do you think our country's doing enough for those guys?
I don't know. I think it's a real thing. Some people are able to tolerate more stress than others, as you know, just from the life that you've lived.
Yeah.
It's not, what did you do in the war? It's what did the war do to you?
Yeah.
And that's a question is different for everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody responds differently. So, I do. I think it's a real.
Sad.
I have two really good friends that have treated for that, and both were over there earlier than I.
Yeah, I don't know. I know people that come in the station, young people that served a couple duties, and Iraq and Afghanistan, I meant, boy, you can tell looking at them that they're trying to not live that era in their life. I'll give you an example. Good family out here at Johansson's. Alex, he went in the Marines right out of high school pretty much, big stout kid, and he's doing well now. He's got a little baby girl, wonderful wife, and they're down in the Carolinas. But Chad and Renee, very good friends of mine, and he was over in Afghanistan when they were booting everybody out of Afghanistan. He was head of a platoon, and he happened to be in the barrack where they were supporting and protecting the airplanes coming in and out. And he'd been there for 22 hours or whatever, a lot of hours, and he told his people, he said, I got to go get some rest. And he left them there, and shortly after that, a bomb hit that and blew them all up. And, he lives with that. Why me, but like I said, divine intervention, God wants you to live on, and that's what we got to look at. But there's just so many sad stories like that, like the one guy from Barrington came in, and he is a patriot. He was in the armed forces. He was in the National Guard, threw him over in Iraq. This is back in the 80s or 90s, whatever. And he tells the story where he was standing next to the truck, and he told the guys, I go to the bathroom. So he walks over in the ditch, and truck's gone. All his friends. Just boom. But it's sad. But I want to thank both of you guys, for your patriotic services that you gave to our country, and I'm trying to find something funny in it. Was there anything funny, David, that you enjoy about doing something to your friends in the barracks or anything? Just back.
I would have to think hard about it.
Yeah.
And think long.
But that's probably one of the reasons this was personal to you on the Matt Weber signage out there, wasn't it?
Well, the death is a personal thing, not only from that experience, but from my vocation, what I did for a living. But it is emotional. You go to the Vietnam Wall, and it's a tearjerker. Most of the people you never heard of. There was one other fellow that passed away in the Vietnam War from Rogers Heights. Do you remember McConnell's store?
Real well.
Fern McConnell had 4 boys. One, Kenny Lane, was a boxer. Remember?
Yep.
They were all boxers.
Yeah.
And there was Pierce Lane.
Yeah, knew him well too.
And
my
Roger
dad.
Lane was in the military. Pierce was too. But Roger came to the little church there in Stanwood and spoke, and he had all kinds of pictures from Vietnam, the helicopters, the Hueys, we call them, and the vegetation and what the topography was. And then he went back for a second tour, and he passed over there. So we actually had 2 people. Roger was not he was more of a graduate from the Big Rapids School, but he had Herm McConnell. Maybe you know Herm from
know
Big
Herm
Rapids.
real well, yeah.
And then he had a sister, Diane. That was from Fern McConnell's second marriage, Stan. I'm not sure her first husband would have been Elaine. There were 4 boys, as I said. But what Fern's maiden name was, I don't know. But I believe she was from around here originally.
So there was a lot of guys from down there. Everybody went in then.
Yeah, that's just what you did.
Yeah. Now the Lanes are from Stanwood? Pearson, all them? The boxers?
Well, that's where they kind of hung
Rogers
out
Heights?
afterwards.
Okay.
I remember I never met Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny hung out over in Muskegon. I remember when he fought Joe Brown for the lightweight title.
Yeah.
It was on TV.
Really? What year was that? Do you remember?
Boy, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I wasn't. It was in the 50s.
Okay. Yeah.
On a black and white TV with all kinds of fuzz.
Yeah. Right.
But I saw Roger that one day at the church, presentation of slides, etc. And then Kenny is still living. Mm-hmm. And he's not far from here.
Wow.
I knew Kenny a little bit. He was a rascal. But Pierce, if you recall, carried the torch at the Olympics in Japan here a few years ago.
Yeah.
He just recently passed. He lived in Greenville, and retired as a colonel. So anyway, that was another loss that we had.
Well, you knew a lot of people. Obviously, you got out quite a bit back then,
Yeah.
so you know a lot of people from Rogers Heights, Stanwood.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. How about the Ellisons? How well do you know Les Ellison?
Les?
Yeah.
I stop in, and Les always has a bottle of Coke or
Yeah.
big Coke that he wants you to make sure you have a pop before you leave.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, in fact, I frequently walk by Les's house on the White Pine Trail.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Yeah.
He's quite a storyteller and a lot of his story and his body too. I got to get him on the radio one of these days. I don't know if it'll ever happen because he knows a lot about the history of Stanwood, doesn't he?
He and Gordy Burden. Gordy Burden is still very sharp. I brought fruit and vegetables to Gordon this summer. And we sat and talked, and he's a history book.
Well, could you get him up here, you think?
Could I?
Yeah, bring him up here.
I'm sure he'd be willing.
Boy, will you see if you will? Because I'll tell you what, last time I saw him was at his wife's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, which is not the place to ask him, but I just said, I would really love to have you on and share the history that you know of Stanwood, Morley area, and all the way around there. I mean, he knew a lot of people. Because Ken Vettenberg told me that. He said, if you ever want to talk to a historian,
That's true.
talk to Gordy. So if you'd do that for me, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I'll do something. He could call in, too. Is that
Yeah,
correct? No
couldn't he,
judgment.
Bob? Yeah, you and I could interview him right on the radio. Well, no, but you would have more questions and get it out of him more than I would.
Okay.
Although I'm pretty good, aren't I, Bob? I get everything but Social Security number. But anyway, there's just a lot of patriots down there. And, what do you think happened to Stanwood that transformed them from that rich little town to the closure of it? I mean, like you say, the little cafe, which is a very good place to eat if you want something to eat at Front Street. And is it Jefferson or?
Yeah.
Yeah, goes up through there. But what happened? Were you around then, or were you
sure.
down Grand Rapids?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Well, that was a community of farmers.
Okay.
And, the farming industry, nobody wants to take over Dad's farm to speak of right now. It's a tough industry. You got to provide for your retirement. You got to provide for your health care. Huge expense every month. And, the price of milk, you talked to Kenny Frettenberg, as you've just mentioned. He can tell you what the price of milk is right now. In fact, so those farms became vacant. And really, some people aren't in favor of it, but the Amish have done a great service to that community. There isn't anything you need that you can't find some Amish guy to do it.
I know. That's true.
Whether it's a boat canvas or vegetables or machine repair, they're crafty. It's a crafty culture. So they have taken over the community, so to speak, but they don't have a need for a grocery store like Burden's used to be. They don't have a need for the mill because they mill everything themselves. And they don't have a need for mechanical things because they got horses.
Yeah.
And so as a result, the grocery stores closed. The post office moved down there to Northland Drive. And the bank was bought out. There was a bank there in Salmon. I guess I failed to mention that. Bill Nowden got that. Stanwood State Savings Bank was bought out, and then eventually, I think Chemical had it for a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then Chemical,
They had a hospital there.
Yeah, they did. My mom worked at the hospital.
3-story.
Yeah, it was.
It was a decent sized hospital.
Yeah. So what did they do there then back in the day? I mean,
They did just about everything. Probably did some things they shouldn't have done, but that was, our medical care was different 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And before that, it was called the county farm. And I think the county farm, I could be wrong, but I think that a county farm provided for those that were kind of down and out, gave them a place to live.
Wow.
Gordon Burden would be, or Les Ellison, either one would be able to tell you more about the function of a county farm. But there was a big barn out back, and then the hospital. Anyway, somebody decided it ought to be a hospital, and it became a hospital. But Blue Cross came in, and amongst others, said, well, if you're going to be a hospital, you got to have, your electrical system needs to be upgraded. And you can imagine what that kind of expense would be.
Yeah.
In fact, Bill Veal, who you probably remember, used to come down there and do x-rays. Bill was an x-ray technician, another great Navy veteran.
Yeah.
So the expense of keeping that hospital up became too much, and they eventually sold out.
Boy, I remember when I was a kid, I think I was 16 driving record for my dad. I used to go down there and start cars or whatever, in the winter for people's batteries back. And I was amazed how many people were going in and out of there, and the rooms were full, and they had doctors. Was Slavati in there?
Savati was there. Dr. Cummings was there.
Yep,
the
Dr.
Buffalo
Cummings.
doctor.
He's a Buffalo guy, right?
Yeah. And then Dr. King.
Yeah, Dr. King, yeah.
Those were the three pillars of that. And then Savati came to Big Rapids. King, I think, retired, and Cummings went to Muskegon his last few years of practice.
That one had a doctor's office just south of Sharon's, right?
Yes.
Who was that?
That was King.
King. Okay. He went from the hospital and started there. Then started his.
Well, he was an internist,
okay.
and he was would have take care of more serious problems, heart attack type things.
Okay.
And as well as a general practice.
Yeah.
But
How about? I know I cut you off. I'm sorry. But how about Cummings? Because man, we got only half an hour to go. I'm going to get into this conversation. Cummings. That was a big name down there. I don't know if I ever knew the guy personally, but he brought Buffalo in. What was the reasoning for that? I
think Doc Cummings was part Indian.
Okay.
And he was from South Dakota and grew up close to the Indian reservation out there. And if you remember, he got in trouble over Wounded Knee.
Yeah.
The story was he flew in supplies and dropped them off at Wounded Knee, and then they took him to court in Grand Rapids, and on his way home from court one day, he pulled a guy out of a drink that had put his car in the pond, and as a result, they dropped the charges for his.
Really?
I think so. I think that's the story.
Yeah, because he got out of it. I know it was really serious too, wasn't it? Yeah. So then he came back, and then he retired in Stanwood because he was kind of a quiet guy, wasn't he? I mean,
he retired in Muskegon.
Why is that? Why didn't he stay here with them Buffalo then? Because he had them right up through the 80s, didn't he?
I think they were gone. I think he somehow got rid of them. It was a hobby for him.
Right, yeah. But he had quite a few out there, right? 7 Mile Road and the main street there. And people like myself was amazed by what a buffalo looked like, because, hell, we hadn't seen one. Had you ever seen a buffalo, Bob, besides watching Gunsmoke? Huh? Yeah. Have you ever seen one up front? Rode one?
Road.
Have you? Good. Well, anyway, so he had them there for several years. Then did he leave when he was a young man or old? He was older, wasn't he?
I would say he was in the latter part of his career. He might have practiced in Muskegon for 10, 15 years. I don't know. People lost track of him.
Did he have kids?
He did.
Yeah.
He had a son, Bruce, Bruce is an ER physician out in California. He has a daughter who actually she was an intern when I was attending. I can't remember her name. She is in California or in New York, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was Beth. They were all successful. They were all good kids.
How about Shakers and Movers? You got a lot of names down there, like Lions were there, and Van Sickles were down there, and the Fries were down there. Were you more involved with Stanwood than Morley or Roger Sykes?
Yeah, I would say so.
Right, because you were on Pierce. Did you guys live up west of Northland Drive, then up on that Pierce Road?
No, east.
Oh, you were east, okay. So who was the Shakers and you had a mayor back then, right, Stanwood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Paul Jorgensen, you remember him?
Yeah, real well. He's from there?
Paul was from Big Rapids.
Okay.
But he lived next door to us for a while. He was, before he went over to Chip Hills as superintendent, he was our football coach.
Didn't know that.
taught English, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, he was Paul. Everybody liked Paul Jorgensen.
Yeah.
But so I would say the prominent families down there are lots of them.
I know there was,
and you
yeah.
hate to leave somebody off.
Well,
but, you know,
we already talked about Ellison. We
you
know he
Tom
was,
Lyons here's the magistrate.
Yeah, yeah.
And Jimmy Lyons, his brother,
Yeah.
is successful down in Stanwood. Get a little with that. I don't know. Do you know what he does, Jim?
Who's that?
Jim Lyons.
I don't.
Well, he's in the oil
Right.
exploration
right.
type thing.
Well,
The Hunties.
I know you're not going to puff yourself up, but you're quite an accomplished surgeon, or what?
I did orthopedic surgery. Yeah.
Now, for a guy that could hardly get through high school, you might be an inspiration for some of those kids out there saying, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do. You're an overachiever, pretty much.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So you went to the service, you came out, and then what'd you do then?
Then I went to Western.
So
I
for
graduated
what?
from Western.
You knew what you were going to do then?
Well, I always knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know what it was going to take. And, that's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were blue-collar workers, and
Right.
Stanwood's blue-collar town, and,
Right.
we didn't have lawyers and accountants and,
Right.
people. But
What all of a sudden clicked in you to be an internist? What just woke up one day and said, hey,
no, I'd always wanted to do that.
To be a doctor.
I didn't put model planes or cars together when I was a kid. I had models of ears, and my mother would buy, and models of skin, nose that I would put together and paint.
Really?
Yeah.
So what did you do again? No, then you went to Grand Rapids and worked there for your professional career, right?
Well, I trained in Detroit,
Okay.
and I worked emergency room down there for 4 years. We were a trauma center,
Oh, that was
and the only thing that kept my interest was orthopedics. So then after that, I did 4 years of orthopedic training, and then came to Grand Rapids. Came to Grand Rapids in '88, I believe.
well, that's tough. But you loved it. You loved healing people, eh?
Well, you do.
Bones and what's the worst part of the body to correct? The back, you think? I know we're getting off record, but did you ever do much back work?
Did a little simple back surgery, disc surgery.
Yeah.
I think broken bones that are broken in multiple pieces are a big challenge. But you have Melissa Daniil up here in town. She does a real good job. With the scope surgery and the ability to see 3D when you're looking into a shoulder, that was a real challenge for me. I've sent work to Melissa when she was in Grand Rapids. And so being able to appreciate things in a 3D manner,
Yeah.
it was hard for me to ever learn that. And I would go to all these courses in Chicago, and I just never felt comfortable with it. And I kept my nose pretty clean for 40 years of realizing that it's not what I can do to people, but what I can do for them. And that served me well. Not getting out over my skis.
So did you work for yourself or a company?
No, I was self-employed.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
So where'd you do your work, like at Spectrum or not Spectrum?
I did some work for Spectrum through the Greenville Hospital, but mostly through what was called Metropolitan. Now it's the U of M Hospital on M6.
Did you ever see any miracle cases like, wow, I can't believe that really actually came out as well as it did? You ever?
I suppose.
Yeah.
I can't recall.
I know you had a lot of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
God, I've been lucky. I haven't had a broken bone or nothing real serious wrong with me. One of these days, Bob's going to say, where's Pat? He didn't make it today. It's over. But, all right, so going back to Stanwood, Davisons, we didn't talk about them. They were pretty important to the economy down there, weren't they? Was it Bill Davison or Bob or what?
Don Davis.
Don Davison, yeah.
Well, they bought the mill.
Yeah.
And they ran that for a while, and Don's health, I think, started to fail him. One of his, I believe, cousins worked there. John's health started to fail him, and eventually it closed. They sold it to somebody. Right now, Tyler Honey has purchased. Tyler pretty much owns Main Street of Stanwood.
I know. I love him.
And
Yeah.
he's doing a great job.
Yes, he is.
I don't know exactly what he's doing, but they're working on the old grocery store. I pop in there once in a while, see the workers, and I don't know what he's going to do with the old mill. Nobody does. Maybe he doesn't. But anyway, we got Main Street was just repaved last week,
Yeah, saw that.
so that may be a start to something.
He's listening to people. Tyler's listening to people. What's your wants and needs there? That's what he's doing right now. There's a lot of options that he can do there. I know he's thought about little condominium maybe in there, or little stores that people will come in and rent for, knickknacks or whatever, But gosh, he's a visionary, isn't he? He's really comes from a good family.
He does.
But a lot of guys, and we need more of Tyler's entrepreneurs like him to take that challenge and go out there and get her done. He's a go-getter. He's done a great job with that honey child care. My Lord, he's got one. And his mother started it across from the high school there, and he went to Detroit to work for a little bit and thought, I want to go home and raise my family. And boy, I tell you, and then I've talked to people that work for him in that industry, and they say he's just wonderful to work for.
Well, he's a leader.
Yeah.
He has leadership qualities.
But his grandpa had him too, didn't he? And his dad. And
yes.
His dad was a hell of a coach down there, right?
Yeah.
And AD and then principal. He's done it all, huh?
Yep.
It's funny that he didn't get into education too, because was his mother in education too, or at first? I think she might.
Tyler, no, but Tyler's aunt was a teacher, Cheryl. Tyler's uncle, Craig is a teacher.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Robin Koju, that one of my volleyball coaching mentors.
Yeah.
She's a Hunty?
Her sister's Chris Hunty, which is Clark's wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's related through Chris Hunty, who started the daycare.
Yeah.
All my nieces and my kids went to Hunty's clubhouse as kids, and
it's funny how it goes in a circle though, because like Stanwood looked like it was going to dry up, and it did. But now you got a young guy like Tyler, this little Donald Trump, I call him. I mean, the guy, he's taking stuff that's not worth anything, and he's going to make something of that. Because if you look at the traffic, there's traffic that goes by downtown Stanwood.
oh yeah,
And if there's something there to attract them, they're going to stop.
they all turned left and head right out Pierce Road.
Yeah, and there's thousands of people that live out there.
Well, the White Pine Trail goes right through Stanwood.
Oh, that's right, too, yeah.
It would be nice if there was a way for people to bike in from the Brower Park, but biking down 8 Mile is a challenge, is a treacherous thing to do. It's a foolish thing to do, in my opinion. They drive so fast on 8 Mile. But if you somehow could reroute those or put something over the freeway, a bridge like you drive through Chicago and you see these bridges going over the freeway. If you get the money to do something like that and let them bike in or walk in from Brower Park.
Yeah.
So somehow you got to increase the traffic. I think that maybe what Tyler Honey is banking on is some of the White Pine traffic. And there are a lot of bikes. I walk it frequently. There are a lot of bikers. There's a lot of walkers. There could be more. We could have a Matt Weber walk. You brought that up earlier.
Yeah.
So, there's things that can be done.
Well, just last week, and I had a lot to talk about today, and I thought, wow, we need about 4 hours, because I knew I'd get into the Stanwood thing with you, and I really appreciate you expanding on the conversation. But I went, my wife and I and some friends, Beans and the Vaudrys, jumped in the car, and we went up to Glen Lake. You ever been up there? Glen Lake area?
Yes.
I never have, I don't think. Have you, James?
I don't think.
Oh my God! I shouldn't talk about. There's already enough people up there, but Pete's on here, so maybe we better answer. Yeah, I was going to bring you up, Pete, and tell everybody why you left.
I took my wife to the emergency room, and I'm sorry I had to run out there.
Well, I'm sorry you had to too.
I know you're on the air, so I'll let you go.
No, we'll pray for Lucy.
Okay.
Pray for Lucy and Pete. I'm sorry, Pete. You bet. Thanks. Bye. Yeah, that's too bad. Pete Kent was with us earlier, and he always likes to thank people for listening, and you know who you are out there, but his wife is at the emergency room, so keep Lucy in your prayers this morning. Glen Lake, and then Lake Leland and Leland. Never been there. Have you, Bob?
No.
Oh, my God, it's beautiful up there. But I was talking to some of the locals. They happened to have trick or treat that day, so that place was packed with kids. But it's all beautiful lake. Just, you'd think you're in the Bahamas. That color of that lake, just beautiful. So I was talking to some local guys in the bar there, and they're all very nice. And they said, you know, you're a visitor, obviously. I said, oh, yeah. Well, we love you guys. When you going home? No, you know, but anyway, they said that it used to be and it still is beautiful, but some magazine voted it #1 place in America to vacation. And since that article came out in that magazine or whatever, maybe it was on TV, they said it just had a big influx of people. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And people just flocked there. But it's right on Lake Michigan, too, you know. It's just gorgeous up through there. And then we ended up in Sutton's Bay. But you get up there and you realize that you don't have high blood pressure. And you realize God did gift us with a great state of Michigan. It's just gorgeous. The color up there was just unbelievable. But anyway, Bobby, we'll take a break here and thank our sponsors.
Yep.
20 minutes to 10.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with Dave Fry and James Nostrand. We'll give you the mic here in a minute.
On B1039. When the time comes to say goodbye, you need a funeral home that understands your family's needs. The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus have been a trusted part of this community for generations. They do take care of every family like their own, and they hear it time and time again.
My name is Christina Beers. I would say there's lots of funeral homes in the area, but there's only a small few that can do it with class and with quality and with that personal touch and care. And I would put Janowitz Family Funeral Home at the very top of that list.
Let them help guide you through a challenging time with care, respect, and compassion. The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus. Local, professional, and here for you when it matters most.
I'm Seth Wenger from Wenger Insurance. For more than 100 years, we've been providing professional service and competitive insurance to West Michigan. Come visit us on Perry Street in Big Rapids or give us a call at 796-0778. We're here for you now, and we'll be here when you need us most. 796-0778.
Pennzoil in Big Rapids is your quick-stop shop for oil changes and so much more. With certified techs and 35 years experience, they'll have you in and out in a flash, and a free car wash with every service. And don't forget about tires. As quickly as the seasons change in Michigan, it's easy to lose your grip. Luckily, Pennzoil in Big Rapids has the tires you need to dominate all seasons in Michigan. Big tires, fast tires, grippy tires, sleek tires. Go see Zach Wells at Big Rapids Pennzoil today. He'll get you back on the road and ready to roll. That's Big Rapids Pennzoil, located at 710 North State Street, or give them a call at 231-796-4730.
After decades of satisfied customers, Paris Auto Sales is still your trusted used car center of Big Rapids. So if you've been driving the same vehicle for what seems like decades, come on down to Paris Auto Sales and get yourself a new ride today. Now with 2 locations to better serve you. Trucks, cars, SUVs, big or small, and everything in between. That's Paris Auto Sales. Their team has the experience to get you financed and get you into the vehicle you've been waiting for. Sometimes crossing paths with a flying stone is inevitable. But whether you have a small chip that needs quick attention or a windshield that's beyond saving, Michigan ADA's Calibration and Glass is there to help. If your vehicle has been in an accident and you're working with insurance, they'll handle the entire process from start to finish. From windshields to back glass and even power windows, they'll see you through it. Pun intended. Save time and skip the dealership with Michigan ADA's Calibration and Glass. Same location as JR Customs and Collision, just north of 19 Mile in Big Rapids.
All right, Bobby, we're back at 103. I want to thank Dom and Jen for letting me have the mic. And oftentimes she lets me go past the great hour of 10. Today, I think we might be going by there. We got 2 historians here, which I knew David Fry would know a lot of history of Stanwood area and the people that served in the community and the patriots that came out of that community. We've touched on a lot of that, and if you want to listen to it, it is streamlined, and so you can get back on 103.9 later today, or tell your friend if they want to listen. But it's been a great show so far. I'm really excited about it. You know, a lot of people want their communities to grow, and I understand that. They think, you know, we need more jobs to keep this community going and this and that. But today our visitors here in the studio are from a little community called Stanwood. Population of 5 or 6 generations of families, and I would say, David, how many people live in Stanwood, do you think? 200. But you know, this discussion right now wouldn't be going on right now if say we lived in Granville. And there's nothing wrong with Granville. You probably lived in Granville when you're in, where did you live in Grand Rapids?
Cascade.
Pardon?
Cascade.
Okay, a large community.
Yes,
but
it's the Forest Hills School District.
Okay, so, and I know some great people down there, but when it comes to history of a community, it's pretty hard because it's such an influx of outside people coming in the community then and taking it over or whatever and doing what they want to do, and that's nature. But Stanwood here, we got 2 guys in here that have a lot of history, so I'm not going to waste any more time. James, you said it when we were taking a break there about your piece of property you live on, and then David's eyes lit up and said, I remember, so let's go from there.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because my grandpa taught me when I was a little kid to, you know, when older gentlemen are speaking, to shut up and listen. They probably have some wise words to share. So as you and Doc were talking about the hospital and some of the older areas there, and I kind of live right in the heart of that area. Was telling Doc where I grew up, and then I heard that, you know, back in the day that my shed was used as a poker room. Yeah. and it was confirmed. So it was kind of exciting, you know, just being younger. We've been there since 1985. You know, a lot of the folks I don't know. I know a lot of their kids or some of their kids, and my vacation in the Marine Corps, you know, kind of took me away from the community for a little while, but yeah, it's exciting to live right in the heart of that. We used to walk down to the hospital when it was abandoned when we were kids and just kind of see what it looked like. And, you know, my cousins would come in from out of state in Wisconsin, and they'd be all, oh, let's go check out the hospital. And the Davidsons actually owned that property for the longest time, and they rebuilt some nice houses and did some nice work in there. And now it's kind of grown up a little bit. I think there's a nice little farm in there.
Well, whose property did you buy?
We bought Cliff and Billy Denslow's property. The would have been Linda Hunty, who is Bill Hunty's. Is Bill Hunty's wife, and then that's, you know, Clark's mom, and you know, all that. So
Denslow was a big name down there. What did they do? Were they in the commercial business or retail?
Well, Slats Denslow was the patriarch of that family. He was a mail carrier, and then he had 3 daughters and a son. Cliff was the son, Silver Star winner in World War II, ran a flamethrower. I mean, you don't get a Silver Star for being a coward. One of his sisters married Mel Vogue, who had the bait shop. The other one married Harold Bell, who had the locker plant in Stanwood. And the other one married Johnny Martz here in Big Rapids.
Really?
Yeah. So that was them. But Cliff Denslow was bigger than life. I mean, he was a lot of fun. He was a big guy. I spent a lot of time in the Denslow house, and Cliff would put his hand on your shoulder, and you knew you had a friend, and you knew you were protected. Wasn't anybody going to bother you. That's the kind of guy he was. But he was bigger than life. He loved to play poker. He loved to have fun. He had a big laugh. He loved sports. Huge sports fan of the Morley Standard programs. So that was the Denslow. But Cliff became supervisor at General Motors. Wow. And that was, he did start out farming the old farm there where Davison bought. He tried to farm that and did, but General Motors was a better opportunity. And his wife Billy worked in the post office.
Yeah, you whenever you talk to Stanwood, man, if it ain't Allison, it was a Denslow.
Yeah.
You know, they just had a great reputation. I guess I probably have met them over the years, but man, you got a lot of good names going back to saying that. So let's talk about this, David, just for a minute, and then we'll go back on the properties. And James, if you want to interrupt, go ahead and do it. I'm very good at it. You should have learned by now. I'm one of the best interrupted guys on radio.
I love listening to this history and putting it all together. My grandparents were great people, and the whole reason we came up here was, one is because they had a giant way. And I don't know if you remember that place, but I wanted to be closer to Grandma and Grandpa, and I just loved growing up on the river. I mean, up until the time we moved here, when I was 10 years old, my parents would drop me off. Once I got potty trained, my parents would drop me off on the Muskegon River, stay at my grandparents' house down by the Doyles there on Circle Drive, or 12 Mile, Garfield, that area. And my life was awesome. Grandpa and I'd get up and go minnow fishing in the morning.
Giant way.
Yeah.
What?
Well, it was a joke because when my parents
worked there?
No, when we were gonna move here and we were sitting on our steps in the basement in Cutbank, Montana, deciding that we were gonna move to Michigan. I was 9 years old, and my convincing factor was I wanted to move to Big Rapids because they had a giant way.
Yeah.
And that was the comedic part of it. But I wanted to be closer to Grandpa and Grandma. So hearing the stories and putting it all together, being there since 1985, it's awesome. I really don't have a whole lot to interject, and if I can think of something,
do it.
I'd be happy to pipe in.
But going back in time, Dave, you're not much older than I am. But Stanwood was quite a bit smaller than Big Rapids, so we had the roller rink. Did you guys have a roller rink down there?
We, on Thursday nights, they opened up the old Stanwood School gym.
Okay.
And turn on the music, and you could go skate for 15 or 20 cents.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's cool. So, all right, so like, what did you guys do for... besides go behind the bar and smoke cigarettes, what did you guys do?
We were free-range kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have bicycles? And
we had
you
bicycles
ride bikes around
and walked. It's amazing what you do when you're a kid and you think back of it. But I was the first paper boy in Stanwood for the Pioneer.
Wow. There you go, folks.
So then came my first bicycle, which is a Swin bought up here from Western Auto. Remember Best Western?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
so I would go to Denslow's out to the east. I would go to Savati's house out to the west. I would go to Higginson's house to the north. So I covered all of Stanwood. I knew everybody in Stanwood.
And Stanwood's a big hill.
It was, it is. It was 35 cents a week.
Right.
And I got real good at multiplying 3 times 35, 4 times 35. I knew exactly what they owed me, and I'd go collect every month.
Yeah.
So that part of that probably explains why I became familiar with so many different families in Stanwood. I knew where everybody lived.
Yeah.
I knew where everybody lived.
Yeah. Who was your best friend when you was a kid?
Probably Paul Denslow or Terry Fivey. But we were all good friends. But those two guys, we were all born within 2 weeks of each other in June.
Wow.
And so we always did birthday parties, and we'd pick night crawlers, and we did too, fishing, and we went hunting, and we smoked a few cigarettes.
Oh, Lord, we didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. How about Terry Fivey? Let's talk about him for a minute. Whenever I hear his name, he was quite an athlete. Is that right?
I wouldn't. Terry Goldthwait was a real good athlete.
Who was?
You weren't thinking about maybe Terry Goldthwait.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Okay.
Terry Goldthwait.
Terry Fivey just recently passed this spring.
Yeah.
He was a Vietnam vet.
Yeah. Okay.
And but
everybody loved him, didn't
his grandfather was the Rebos. They had the Rebo gas station there.
Okay. Yeah, that was one on the west side of the road there. The golf.
It was the Sinclair station. No, it was Vogs had the golf station.
Oh.
Sinclair was right there just north of the bar.
Okay, yeah. So there's Sinclair Golf across the street, and then was that a Standard Oil, the brick one?
Yeah, Standard.
Hell, you had 4 of them there, didn't you?
At one time 5. The north end was a Marathon.
Okay.
Then you go to the south, there was Barney Middleton's Standard Station.
Yeah.
Then there was Rebo's Sinclair Station. At one time, before the bar got liquor, that was a Sunoco station owned by the Ulrichs. And then across the street was the golf station owned by Mel Vogue.
Yeah, I remember. Do you remember which one was the last one to close there? I know there's a new one there now, but who was the last? Was that the Standard Oil one? Closed last?
I think so.
Yeah.
Bowman,
Yeah.
one of Doc Savati's sons and his wife ran that. You remember that, Jim? Bryce Savati?
Which is that? Is that the brick building on the north end?
No, not that one. That ended up being a taxidermy or something, a gun shop, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
But can
ride
you
my bike
imagine?
down there and get fishing hooks, and everything you needed to go fishing or hunting was in that place for both. And then he got the guy that owned that. I forget, drawing a blank with his last name, but he got real big into baseball cards.
Yeah.
And I loved baseball cards when I was a kid. I'd ride my bike down there and.
But Dave Fivey, what'd he do for a living?
Worked at General Motors.
Yeah, but he was really well liked, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he did something that inspired something that I just in the back of my mind. He was he involved with Little League baseball or something? No. Okay. Yeah, maybe.
I sold the 8 Mile BP store to him and his wife.
There you go. That's how I know him so well. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's how I know him, Terry.
And then
Real
that
nice
just
guy.
changed hands.
Yeah. Then he went on with the bus garage or something.
He drove the bus for just a short period of time.
Yeah.
After he retired
That's
from
what it
General
was.
Motors.
He
No,
worked for
back
me
in
at
Northland.
Service Master for a
Go
couple.
ahead.
He worked for me at Service Master for
did
a
he?
couple years, and his son AJ Butler, he was a Marine Corps Cobra pilot in the Marine Corps for 6 years.
Yeah. But back then, 131, before the highway days, remember them days?
Yeah.
But that must have been hell getting across the street North Federal Highway or whatever you call it down there. That was dangerous. I remember my dad back when I was a kid, there was a restaurant. We used to have to go down there and sit for the county police right on the county line because there was sure to be on a Friday night a bad accident on that curb. Dead Man's Curb it called,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes.
That was then that restaurant. Who owned that? They had good food there on the east side of the road.
Davies.
Davey had that?
Yeah, I can't remember his first name. We always call him Davy. In fact, some of his offspring have a deer processing place in Altona right now.
Okay. Boy, they had good food there. It was kind of like a satellite restaurant there, and plenty of parking for trucks and stuff. Boy, that flourished, that area, for years, didn't it, Morley? Morley's doing pretty good, though, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. They got Mosey Inn down there and 2 gas stations, and yeah, they had that chicken place down there, or whatever it was. Oh, gosh, where they made chicken cages.
Oh, Kitson's?
Yeah, Kitson. That employed quite a few people there.
Yeah, that's closed up now.
Yeah. But anyway, you want to
Let me just jump in here and say WBZX Big Rapids, so keep going.
Well, then anyway, getting back to childhood days, did you have a preference of what gas station you guys went to in Stanwood there?
No.
None. All of them are good. All local people.
My dad plowed snow for all of them, so he'd go down and get $2 worth of gas from this guy, and the next day he'd go to the other guy, and so it spread it around.
Yeah. Well, then downtown, did the Parkers have that restaurant there where the corner cafe is now? Who owns that now? Do you know?
Yeah.
Local girl?
Yeah.
You know, James?
Elaine sold it to one of her longtime waitress staff. Her name's Gabby Hoekstra, but I think she's getting married or is married to the guy that does all the maintenance for one of the properties in Big Rapids. I can't think of his name.
Wow.
His first name is Brad, and they're getting married on Saturday.
Brad Eaton. Brad Eaton, that's his name.
Right.
Oh, James Eaton's boy.
Yeah.
He bought that?
Yeah.
No, him and his fiance, soon to be wife. I guess they're getting married Saturday. Yep.
Boy, that's a good restaurant. Could be a little bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
They fill that right up, don't they? They have good food. Very good food. No, never heard of a complaint. I met a lady in there one day. I went there by myself and to get lunch, and that was only last year. Turns out she was by herself, an elderly lady, and I said, well, can I sit with you? Because there wasn't a lot of tables left. And she goes, no, sit down. So I sat down. She was from Indiana, the middle of Indiana. Her husband worked for the government, auditor for the government, believe it or not, go all these other countries. So the monies that we gave them, he would go and audit, make sure it went to the right places. like back to Biden's pocket or Clinton's or Ford's or Trump's. No, I'm only teasing on that part, folks. Don't get nervous here. Not getting political. But anyway, I had a nice conversation with her. I said, where are you going? She goes, well, my grandfather originally owned all of Jensen Lake, and she has the homestead there, and her nephew was remodeling it, redoing it, and she was going up to see the progress on it. But she was in her 80s, high 80s, driving all the way up here. And I said, you still love it then, huh? She goes, oh, there's no place like home. And that's why, like Veteran Bleecker and those guys always like to tease me that I'm a Mayberry RFD guy. You know, Andy Griffith, don't want the town to grow, just love our little hometown here, you know. But we've grown, we've done pretty good. But what, David, over the years, what's your perception of Big Rapids? What do you see as the positives of living around here? Stand with Big Rapids, Harry, what?
I think it's the familiarity and just the comfort that you get from that. I go to the Ferris gym during the wintertime anyway, and the old Wink building there.
Yeah.
I think Big Rapids is doing well. I suspect that Perry Street has taken a little bit of the life out of downtown Big Rapids. You have so many memories when you drive through Big Rapids. You remember that's where Curries gas station used to be, and this is where the old Dairy Queen used to be. Now, those are things that they could improve on, is my opinion, that we need a Dairy Queen.
Yep, I agree.
But it has everything you need, Big Rapids does, for the most part. And with the ease of travel, it's not like we have to drive down the old Northland Drive all the way to Grand Rapids anymore. If you got to have something, you can scoot into Grand Rapids, and then you got the internet. So I think Big Rapids is doing fine. I think probably, everybody has a different opinion about the Goshen issue, but that's history now.
Yeah. James, how about you?
I really love it. I mean, I started coaching volleyball down in Reed City, and from Reed City down to Morley, it's like, man, it's one big family to me. And, a couple years ago when I was coaching at Crossroads, and they got the new principal and superintendent there, Eric Harmison, and I'd go in there just to see my kids or whatever when volleyball wasn't going on, and I'd see somebody I knew in there, and he'd pull me aside. He goes, do you know everybody in this town? I try to, and I think that's really what makes Big Rapids special is, there are people we don't know, but the vast majority of us are just one big family, and everybody's just kind of a phone call away.
You got involved. You didn't have to get involved, but you're one of those special people that have committed yourself to the betterment of our community through our children. You've been a volleyball coach how many years of your life?
Matt and Robin, my mentors, got me started 10 years ago. Been involved with volleyball since 1985 when we moved here, and my dad was the public address announcer for Ferris State volleyball. Got to spend some time with, at the time it was Jill Hershinger and Beth Lanier. They were the volleyball coaches at Ferris, went on to have some successful Division I careers, as many Ferris coaches did. Kathy DeBoer, I think, who was coached there before those two, went on and coached at the University of Kentucky. And I grew up in that gym. My sisters and my sister Carrie and I would go over to Beth and Jill's house and paint their fence and do yard work for them and get a little cash on the side. And I'd just go in there and shake balls for volleyball practice. And then Dale Wilhelm and Steve Belcher. Steve Belcher had, I think, 3 or 4 boys. He was the gym teacher and volleyball coach at Big Rapids. They started an AAU boys club, so all of our sisters were playing, and they brought us boys in. And I was blessed with 3 beautiful, amazing, independent daughters, Pat. And I figured, hey, if I got to be following them around, chasing around, playing volleyball everywhere, I might as well get involved. And I saw success early. I saw a lot of buy-in from my passion for the kids. I've really worked hard. Society, we talked about it, is tough on these kids. We have no clue how much social media beats these kids up. And for me to go in to the gym and get their chin to get them a little bit more confident, let them know that it's okay to make mistakes. I mean, Michael Jordan didn't get as good. None of us got as good as what we did without making mistakes. I mean, I've made lots of mistakes in the cleaning business, made lots of life choices, and I want these kids to be comfortable with that a positive learning environment and a lot of growth. And the real nice thing is with my new position down there at Reed City is last Saturday was our Reed City invite only tournament, and I had a couple coaches and a couple of officials come up to me and say, "Wow, I can't believe how good your girls look since the beginning of the season. Seeing them, playing them, first part of the season, officiating them, and how they've transitioned." And I don't know how I get the buy-in. The community, a lot of people in the community, talk to me on a regular basis about. Tacy's was texting me saying, "Hey, I guess I heard you on the radio. Her kid's going to be up and coming."
Oh, yeah,
stud.
she's good.
I worked with her on some private lessons, but I mean, I just like to have a safe place for these kids to go and hey, if it's volleyball, how did our whole conversation start?
Yeah.
Volleyball's growing so much, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yep.
Boy, Big Rapids has got a good program going too, but Reed City traditionally has always had a top-notch program, and I think a lot has to do with Dale Wilhelm. He might be tough, but he does know the game. Of course, his wife's the famous coach of Ferris State, which is on a hell of a string right now.
Yep.
But volleyball is being recognized more now than ever before. I don't know if it's because my granddaughter, she's in 8th grade at St. Mary's. They have a pretty good team. I think they went undefeated this year. But they're going to get beat, and if she makes it in high school, that's great. But one thing about it is over a lot of sports, and I shouldn't have said that because basketball is a team sport too. But that volleyball, boy, you got to know that girl next to you, how she's going to react when you set that ball up. Now, Maddie's a little shorter. She's not short, but the Tacy girl's much taller. She's got 3 or 4 girls on that team, pretty tall. She sets them girls, and man, it's pretty hard for them to hit back. But I was just going to ask you real quick, and don't take a lot of time on it because I like the mic.
Okay.
I'm only kidding you. You're a big fella.
Yep.
You play football?
I didn't. I played football, rocket football growing up. Played basketball growing up. Played baseball and AAU travel volleyball.
And then you went to Morley Stanwood?
Yep. Graduated Morley Stanwood in 1995.
Did you have pretty good? You had Ford as a coach.
Yeah, we that's the year Lakeview knocked us off with a 3-pointer at the buzzer. One of the Thompson twins hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer my senior year. And that's the year that Lakeview went on with the big David Skorka kid, and they had a really good lineup. I think they lost in the state championship that year, and we lost to them by 3 points at the buzzer.
Where'd Ford come from, Dave? You probably knew him pretty good, didn't you?
Yeah, I know Ron.
Ron Ford, yeah.
He's a Morley kid.
Boy, there's something about Morley. You guys really were very successful with your own people, weren't you?
Yeah.
But did he teach down there, or just?
He did.
Okay.
Did you have him, Joe?
Yeah, I had him for a math teacher, baseball coach, and basketball coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, he was.
What do you think made him such an outstanding coach? I mean, I remember my kid Adam had a pretty good baseball team at Big Rapids. We're much larger than Morley Stanwood. We would beat him as JV, but then we go to varsity, and we couldn't. We'd get beat by them, and they ended up going to the state finals. Brenton Goldthwait was on that team, and the Wernet kid was on that, and Slavati. They had a good lineup, but more importantly, that Ford knew how to throw those boys in at the key times, and you had them in their position. They didn't have very many errors.
I think Ron Ford comes from an athletic family, and then Ron was a good athlete himself. Ron was a senior, I was a freshman, so he was our high school quarterback or varsity quarterback. It was a guard on the basketball team, and he played baseball. But more importantly, I think he learned from Ed Loudon.
Yeah.
Ed Loudon was a phenomenal baseball coach, and Ford then filled Loudon's shoes, or attempted to fill Loudon's shoes.
Wow.
But that's where I believe don't you think so, Jim?
Yeah. He was a master. Ron Ford was a mastermind with what he did in basketball. He through his discipline in practice that he taught us young boys.
What was he? So he played multiple sports.
Yeah.
And then he coached multiple sports, huh?
Yep.
I suspect.
I mean, did he?
Well, he was the football coach at one point in time too, wasn't he, Doc? Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, I think
Well,
he was.
who's this Ed Loudon you said? What?
Ed Loudon, in fact, he just passed away this summer. 93 years old.
Wow. Old, big fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed Loudon came from Central High School in Grand Rapids and was a sophomore on a state championship team. His family owned a fruit farm right there across from the Myers that's on the East Belt Line.
Okay.
East Belt Line in Knapp.
Okay.
They were right there. He could tell you stories about that all day. I mean, horses, and so he loved horse. But anyway, he moved up to Stanwood area, Morley area, when as a youngster, and then, believe it or not, he was. Did you know he was a Marine?
Yeah, I heard that after I got out. I think Coach Ford told me that. I ran into him and Mr. Sadusky and Zotz shortly after I got out and had a really good conversation. And that's what they said to me. They said, well, Coach Ford said if you would have behaved in high school a little bit better, you would have got more playing time. And then secondly, he told me that Ed Loudon was a former Marine.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, Loudon worked a little bit of construction. Then he went to Ferris, got a degree, and then he got a master's from North Dakota. And he came back. He was offered a job. He told me this himself in North Dakota at a small college, but he really wanted to coach baseball. So that was why he came back to Morley Stanwood and taught math and science. He was my algebra teacher, my geometry teacher, chemistry, physics. But he was a math guy and he was a baseball coach.
So he had good teams, baseball.
Oh yeah, he was.
Well, what's that team in '89 that had Bob Mumpby, Steve McGuire? Were they state championships or state champions or runner-ups? But that was a really good team. And then they had Clark before that group of guys.
Oh, that's right, Clark Hunty when he played ball. How old is Clark now? I
think he graduated in '84.
Okay.
So is Clark 60?
Probably close. Huh?
Yeah.
He was good. They have good teams back when he played then, overall.
Yes.
Morley Stanwood baseball tradition's big down there. It still is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. To this day, it's still Ron Ford and that guy, Leiden.
Yeah, and then after Coach Ford, I mean, it kind of worked out really good because then Bob Raven took over some of that stuff, and it was just kind of, it was one of those programs that just always had that's where I'm looking for loyalty. So like
tradition.
Tradition. Loudon taught Ford taught Raven, and then Raven came in, and then Clark came back to the school, and then Clark got Robin in there for volleyball, and now his daughter Alexis is coaching boys basketball at Morley Stanwood.
Really?
Yep. And so there's always just been that tradition of and I would say camaraderie, because when I moved here in '85, it was nothing. I mean, on snow days or in the summer, we were down at the Buffalo Diamonds hitting baseballs, or we were at this, on snow days, we all had the custodian's number, so we all call each other up and go down to Stanwood Elementary. He'd let us in, we'd shoot some hoops.
Yeah. How about old Hank Ware? Lived down there off 3 Mile. You smile when I say his name because you know him pretty well, eh, Hank? The old sheriff.
Yeah.
He for years would come into Curries early, 5 o'clock in the morning when I'd open. Hank would be there and Bill Shibley. And they didn't talk about their wives, didn't talk about their kids, even though they loved them. They talked sports. And Hank loved Ron Ford. Just always, Ron Ford, this. But Hank was a pretty good athlete himself, if I remember right. And then they had a heck of a team that made a state run in basketball, I think, didn't they, when Hank was in high school? And who was the tall? They had some tall guys, and I know him real well, and I can't think of his last name.
Randy Laprise a pretty decent basketball player?
That was way after
Babbitt.
that.
Oh, okay.
You thinking of Babbitt?
Yeah, Babbitt. Thank you. What's his first name? Keith Babbitt. Hell of a nice guy. Worked out Trans-Canada too, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Boy, you couldn't ask for a better guy than him. He's still around.
Yes, he is.
He'd have a lot of history, but I remember him playing. Hank, and who else? Was Ron on that era then, or Ron's younger than them?
One of the guys on that team was Stan Carey.
Okay, Stan Carey.
Passed away this year.
Yep.
Steve Johnson.
Okay, I know the Johnson name.
I think Henry's brother, Carlton.
Yep.
John Nowd might have been on that team.
Yeah.
There was some others, Jerry Crum.
Okay. But that Keith Babbitt was a force.
Yeah, he was a big guy.
Yeah, he was big. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. Just a genuine American patriot. But those guys, Keith never bragged about how good he was. And I'm not saying Hank did, but Hank was the most proud athlete out of Stanwood, or Morley area. I shouldn't say Stanwood. He's a Morleyite, right? Because Lynn Goldthwait, a dear friend of mine, I loved Lynn to death. We go way back in the bus driving days. But that's when you could smoke before you picked the kids up, as long as you threw the cigarette out the window. But Lynn and I were good friends, and I would always tell everybody, I'd introduce him to him, well, he's from Morley, just to get under his skin. You know, 'cause, no, I'm not. I'm from Stanwood. There was a big difference. They incorporated the two eventually, but there was two different towns. Now we call it Morley Stanwood, but there's a lot of pride down there. And traditionally, if you look at the sports programs, when they have a down year, they always bounce back. And that's saying that Clark Hunty is back coaching again. Is that right?
Assistant football coach.
Yep.
And he's back, I think, as the AD, too.
Yep.
So
how does that happen?
I couldn't tell you.
It's called pride. I think they had some losing seasons in there. No, Clark said, no. As long as I'm alive, I'm going to get some of that tradition back. Not that the other coaches couldn't do it, but he's got such a great drive in him, I think, anyway. And I don't even know him. I know Tyler real well, and I know Alexis. But talking about that, they had some state championship in volleyball girls, and that's quite a height of its own, isn't it?
Yeah, 2007, 2011. I remember going down to the 2011 match at Kellogg Arena, and it was an impressive Morley Stanwood team.
Yeah. Who coached them?
Robin Koju.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Robin. Yeah.
She's still coaching?
Yep, she's coaching. I think 22 years she's been doing it. She started, or maybe even longer than that. I want to say her first season was 01 or 02, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to the old names of Stanwood, I know we got to cut this off. Bob's sitting there going, God, tomorrow's coming Wednesday. Talking about Les Allison a little bit. You remember the meat shack they had down there? Now that went on for how many years do you think? That was an old block building. His brother, Dick Ellison was in on it, wasn't he, or not? No. Don.
I don't know if it was Don. I always thought it was Bob Johnson, who is still living, and Les Ellison.
Okay.
And I remember riding my bike out there when they first opened up.
Yeah.
The building still stands.
Yeah.
I'm sure that none of the equipment is there, but the building's still there.
Wow.
On the north end of Les's property.
Yeah, Les, he was pretty proud of that. They did a lot of meat processing back then.
Beef and pork, I believe.
And they sold retail there, right? People could come
I don't know
buy.
if they did or not.
I think they did. I think I remember going in there buying it from them, but maybe it was illegal back then.
That wasn't a part of your bike route, Doc?
Well,
or your
no,
paper
I
route?
didn't go that far. I stopped at the 8 Mile Northland Drive area. That was the Higgison place.
Okay.
But,
Well, one more thing on
New Deal.
On Ellison Shack, he built that. What was the reason for that? Because that was kind of a building, wasn't it?
That was on the next road over.
Yeah.
180th.
Yeah.
Versus Northland Drive. And I was only there a couple of times. I don't know, just something Les wanted to do.
Right.
I don't know if it's still there or not.
Yeah. Like I said, I know we talked about him earlier. I love that guy to death. If he was your friend, he'd do anything for you, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I remember him and Morris Bowman and all those guys used to, what was the restaurant's name in Rogers Heights? They had Ferd's, Oasis, or was that the same one?
I know where you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, they had them two old restaurants, and those guys be there every day talking, and reminiscing about their days. Boy, you're talking back, they could have talked about the early 1900s. Les got to be close to 90, if not older.
I would guess that he's older than 90.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What else, James? Anything else about Stanwood that we're missing, or Dave?
No, I'm just curious about going back down to the Stanwood Elementary and seeing if those old strap-on metal skates are down there, and see if we can get some laps going around that gym.
I can tell you where to look.
Yeah, they're right underneath the stage. That's where they were the last time I was in there.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I always say it's divine intervention that brings people together in good ways. And this all started because David Fry came to me and and asked for some help if I knew of anybody that could help get this dedication of Matt Weber out there on the highway. And it gives me chills thinking of it right now because it's all positive things that he wanted done for the United States of America, not just for the Muskegon River, but to pay tribute to a young man, life cut way, way too short, 21 years old, I believe, and the hell he went through on earth for us to be safe to sit in at 103.9 this morning and talk about his tribute to America. And Dave, I just want to say thank you very much because it shows your patriotism. And you know, you have enough to live on. You've had a great life, you know that, and you didn't have to do what you did, but you really worked hard the last 3 years to see the fruits of this become alive and well. And for generations down the road, I hope that this show today can be taped and be played back so people down the road will go down the road and say, oh, who was Matt Weber? He was a true American. He was a Christ-given child to us, and he was definitely a gift to his family, to all of us. And I know I'm rambling now, but I just, again, I leave the show with love, and God bless America every time I do a show. And you guys are just wonderful, wonderful people, and I really appreciate Matt giving his life up for us and what he's done for us today. I mean, we talked about Stanwood, his hometown, Morley, Stanwood area, and Rogers Heights, and all the gifted people that came into our lives from down there. But, you know, I often say Reed City is very unique because of the pride that they have up there and the generation of families up there. It's not just one generation and that leaves, they stay there. And I can name a lot of names up there. I can do the same thing as Stanwood. I mean, look at you. You came back home, you know, and to reminisce your life, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So any last words, Dave?
No.
James?
Good job. Thank you.
I appreciate you having me on here, and I just want Doc to know that it speaks volumes, not for the community, for the other veterans out there, to know that, hey, that there's people out there. Just makes us stand a little bit taller, makes the kids who might be wanting to go in and serve our great nation, the confidence that, your community's here for you. Your community's going to be here for you, and it's examples like Doc that doing what he did for Matt. And I want Doc to know that I appreciate that too. It speaks volumes for generations to come.
Well, and then we pay tribute here in a week or so. November 11th, is it our Veterans Day parade in Big Rapids?
Yep.
Is it
Yep. November.
Yes. Pretty good, aren't I? The 11th.
November 10th is the Marine Corps birthday, and then November 11th is, you're right, Doc, 250.
We have a big parade down.
Born 1775 at the Tun Tavern.
And I just want to say too, folks, if you want to be in the parade, show your patriotism. They'll let you in the parade, right, Jen? I mean, downtown Big Rapids, it starts down by the library, and they'll have the motorcycles, they'll have a parade of Jeeps and all that, and yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. A few years ago, we had a flyover. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but yeah, Big Rapids. Be there November 11th, Veterans Day Parade. All right, well, God bless America. Thanks a lot, Jen.
Thanks for having me, Pat.
Bob, for letting us on for almost 2 hours. This is kind of a record. I think it is a record, isn't it, Jen?
Our Curries Corner.
Yeah, records are meant to be broken. Next week we're going with 3.
There you go. Well, we'll have to have you guys back on. I mean it, part 2. God bless America, Bobby.
Curries Corner, brought to you by Hooked at Curries, Susan Bean at Big Rapids Realty, Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair, Seth Winger at the Winger Insurance Agency, Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile, Barrington Firearms and Training Center, DW2 Drywall, Michigan ADOS, the Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus, and Paris